So the way I learned the bartending originally in Japan was quite like authentic, like very quiet environment, and I worked in like the jazz bar as well, like cigar jazz bar, which is a little more kind of lively and fun, and still like having a conversation to the guests that happens, of course, but it's just different clientele that like you move to New York, you see it's just how can I say that open-mindedness of the clientele, and then just relationship, the process of building relationship with the bartender, between bartender and the guests is. New York is part of America, but a quite special place that it's not really. It's just a special place, and you meet people, right timing and right place and right moments. That is, the original, the very first opportunity was I was selling pizza. For some reason, I get into this amazing fine dining restaurant. I didn't know anything about it. Just running food, and then I got a chance working, jumping behind the bar, working as a barback, learning. Couple, the tough nights that I get my, ass kicked, and but I never hated my job. I always loved my job. I thought it was great, and then, eventually I meet those people that time to time, like perfect timing. I met Tom. Tom introduced me to Paul. Paul introduced me to Naren, and eventually, eventually Naren, of course, Linden Pride from Saxon Pro. So that's the whole opportunity that I really appreciate. Like today, I can't thank enough to those people. What high volume means, high volume of simply like you being behind the bar and you slinging out like those hundreds and hundreds of cocktails entire night. So high volume, what happens is weekends, even weekdays, we get pretty busy like Tuesday through Saturday, no matter what. So the bar counter to the rail, you can still stand and have a chat with you, and so that kind of creates 14 seats plus behind capacity of 14 people. On the rail, probably I would say 10 people. And by the window there's another rail, and you probably like constantly making drinks for like from 6 o'clock till 1 o'clock a.m. non-stop, no break. Just keep slinging out all the drinks that some are complicated, but trying to make it like more rational, trying to make it more efficient to make. So that's not it, because we need to pay attention to those guests at the bar, as well as people sitting at the table, that 140 seats restaurant. So that kind of, I call it 100, I would call it, probably everyone calls it high volume bar, because only 3 bartenders, 1 barback. That team just slinging out, make that like drink happens, and make sure all the drinks like right, taste right, all the fresh, seasonal. Speaking of the cocktail, the cider at the Saxon Pro, even we take order, even we run the drinks, even we go out, and I don't know, just everything happens. So high volume means just and then the restaurant bar, again, we serving food, we need to mark the table, we need to take those plates away, we have to talk about specials of the day. Also, high volume restaurant bar means that just so many things. Concept, I don't know, like chicken or egg, that like the question is like where that happens, but the concept is really important apparently, because what you want to share, something special thing about your place with the guests, like is it American bar, like you love to share those great oysters and steaks and all those classic American like cocktails with the guests. Like that's the message, and that's the concept is a message to the guests, how you want to enjoy them, what do you want the guests to eat and drink, and then here comes like architectural design, because how the most like you can make it efficiently pump up the drinks. That there's just the bartending point of view, that's the one of the the greatest challenge, that the design needs to be really efficient, really organized and easy to work. Being behind the bar, it's like a cockpit. That the restaurant, the bar itself is like a cockpit. Like exactly, it needs to be like minimal. Like everything, ideally, everything needs to be in the out of your reach, within your reach, that all the syrups and booze and tools and sinks and everything. I'm the average size and average tall, so just like certain very specific height of the building table, the cocktail building station, and again the height of the sink, height of the ice wells, and distance to the guests, and how just the design is really just important, and how to maximize the revenue as well. The more comfortable bar, we more faster pumping up the drinks. Yeah, make more drinks, make more money, and then so. I like aprons. Probably I like aprons because that's just the uniform of Saxon and Pearl, stripe apron. Like suspenders, and you can wear whatever you want, and then if you want to grow a mustache, and you can, and it's up to you. How can I say? To raise awareness for this prostate cancer, like men's cancer, to shave off, if whoever has like you, that to shave off everything and then regrow, and then not shave that November whole month. So that's kind of sort of it's called Movember, mustache, like Movember. I think like like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that was a chance, and I grew it, and I didn't shave. I trim them, but that's, I don't know. That speaking of the uniform and the look, that as long as it suit you, and then just yeah. The most important thing is about people. That's the whole thing. And it's not about like drinks, and it's not about food that you serve. It's about people, that people keep coming back to see you, and then it just like makes you feel fun, relaxed, whatever. Like that's the most important thing. It's not about us, and it's not about the again. I keep saying that the sharing deliciousness. That's kind of cool. I really love to use. And also and later comes seasonality, like what's in season and what's so delicious. And I taste something, we go in the market, farmers market for example, and I see so many different like seasonal fruits and vegetables, and I taste them. I love to cook, and now I wish I can share the deliciousness with my family who lives in Japan. At the same time, I see so many seasonal fruits, vegetables that I can incorporate that into my work, which is making drinks in the restaurant. So I love to share those delicious things with the guests. So that's kind of whole cycle of like, it's not about like, I don't know, that it's a little bit weird that these days, this is quite unusual phenomena that I get to come to meet you guys in Kiev, and my job is making drinks, and which is great. But again, that my home is in New York, and working in Saxon Pro, the daily. I make drinks, and I love to share the delicious thing with the guests, and look after the guests. So again, you mentioned Sam Ross. If you go to the Attaboy in New York City, you see that everything. Drinks, phenomenal, amazing, delicious drinks, but you get to see just people that like Sam Ross and Mickey over there, and whenever you see them, how they look after you, and how personal they are, that's something really represents why we doing this job for. I have, for some reason, I have lots of whiskey at home. So I drink, I think I drink lots of, I've been drinking whiskey at home. Don't take the, I don't want to think, I mean, I don't care like whatever people think, but yeah, I drink every day in certain amount of whiskey, any other liquors because I like and like to taste and base. Yeah, everything. I like everything.
So no special preference?
No, I like everything. Yeah. Delicious. Очень вкусно. Thank you.
Wow. Can you name a couple?
So speaking of the market that I mentioned, that I mean like different like supermarkets and but like definitely at Union Square Farmers Market, which opens every Wednesday morning, Friday, Saturday morning. That's so. I was helping my my cousins, you know, like a little boys summer assignment. So I went there like to take a bunch of photos that they're trying to share with them was like New York that people think is like just like Manhattan or like cities and Brooklyn, but like again like New York is part of the New York State, and it's just great nature in upstate and making wines to cheese and lavenders and. Farmers Market's great in Union Square, and then these days so many different parts of Brooklyn and Queens as well are different farmers market. So what happened is those few days, farmers from different parts of upstate. The upstate we call it upstate, but could be 45 minutes, it could be 2 hours. So just it's really different parts of you know the season. Soon that there are lots of apples coming and lots of root vegetables and. So farmers market, and then also, you know, probably everyone loves this place, Kalushyan's, which is a spice market, Middle Eastern spice market. Kalushyan's. They just now they're expanding the shop, and it's gonna be really cool. It's still open. So Kalushyan's, it's located on Lexington Avenue and between 27th and 28th Street. That's where I mentioned Naren Young. So also he says that just you get lots of inspiration from there. You just walk into the shop, like you don't have to have like certain things to buy. Just walk in, you get to see so many different things that the from dry spices to you know like malic acid to you know like so many different things that really inspirational. So you go there, yeah, farmers market, Kalushyan's, just so many other places to name. Recently I made a drink in New Orleans at the Tales of Cocktails. We did one of the Chivas dinner, Chivas Regal, beautiful blended Scotch whiskey. I used 18 years old Chivas Regal because usually just itself is quite beautiful. Like you can drink neat or you know like on the rocks. Quite beautiful blended Scotch itself, but I wanted to make this kind of sort of summer version of Rob Roy, the classic Scotch-based cocktail. So 18-year-old Scotch, what would I blend it with? As I picked the Sauterne, 18 years old Sauterne. So 18 and 18 years, it's just quite beautiful aroma, and just gently stir it up and garnish with this, garnish with the summer cherries, just fresh cherries instead of the brandy cherry. So that's something that you know that depends on what kind of drinking you're making, but you can still mix it, but you really have to be careful to highlight them. It's for the story. It's everything about story. So what kind of drink you want to make, what kind of message and what kind of story you want to share with for those who you're making the drink for. think about like those flavoring in Mediterranean, like those southern Italy or Sicily, compare that flavoring, like fresh herbs and lemons, to like much colder places like Russia and the other Scandinavian, like lots of salted food and lots of cured food, smoked and preserved food. But again, like say like cocktail like a daiquiri or gimlet, like or say daiquiri, like if you're sitting like on the beach in Havana, that or like you know, like you're drinking a margarita and in like beach of Oaxaca in Mexico, just like that, you know, like different level of dilution is going on because of the heat or like for the temperature, but also that margarita. But if I make the same margarita in New York, like might feel a little lighter, or you know, like that I want a little more agave, you know, like a little more stronger. But on the beach, I want a little more lighter, or I don't know. So it depends on where you are. I think that's kind of changes, you know, little adjustment. That's, you know. But then New York is again like located in like a very universal, and again that everyone comes from everywhere. Everyone comes from everywhere, so that's New York City. So you get to kind of neutralize your taste buds to what everyone else likes. So I think that's the reason I mentioned about universal, that the New York Universal.